Hi, I'm Jonathan Ammon. I won the Scriptapalooza Fellowship for my screenplay Around the Solar System in 80 days. The prize is a free trip to a writer's retreat in Costa Rica. So tomorrow morning I will be leaving the country for the first time since I was a kid. Ronald Reagan was president last time I left the country, so I can't wait to find out who the president is when I get back next week. All right, cue the peppy, royalty-free montage music. Hello there. What can you teach me about screenwriting? Where do you stand on double space versus single space after a period? Oh, you don't want to talk about that. I hear you. It's a pretty divisive issue. It's been a really interesting few days. This is day 3. Learning a lot about the subconscious and how that affects what you write. Meditative writing, that kind of thing. It's not the kind of thing that I would have ever sought out because my mind doesn't ordinarily work that way. I think I'm more kind of analytical. But it would have been a waste of time to go somewhere where they're going to teach me how to think the way I already know how to think. So I'm taking some lessons here and learning some things about new ways to approach creating ideas, finding themes, how to write action so that it's more hypnotic to the reader rather than just being description. So it's very, very interesting. I'm glad I had the opportunity to have this experience. It'll be useful to me. Whoa, my feet are getting wet. I really thought I was high enough. This morning I woke up, I swear I could hear a bird singing the Game of Thrones theme song. So maybe I've just been away from my TV too long. That's probably what it is. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the script that got me here. It's called Around the Solar System in 80 Days. And it is a futuristic science fiction retelling of Jules Verne's Around the World in 80 Days. And I will confess it started as a very calculated decision to try to pilfer the public domain. I wanted to, I'd written a few original ideas that, even though they did well in contests, if you're a complete nobody like me, it's hard to get people interested in reading your original ideas. But there is a way in with a public domain property where if there's some recognition built into the characters or the story, or even just the title, you're more likely to get interest. So I literally went to Project Gutenberg and looked through the list of titles that were there and tried to find something that I would have my own unique take on, something that I would be excited about telling in a way that maybe nobody else would tell it the way I would tell it. And it just so happened to be two summers ago, summer of 2015, and we were just getting the first images back from the New Horizons spacecraft, which flew past Pluto and sent back really detailed pictures of the surface of Pluto. And also, just a few months before that, the Dawn spacecraft went into orbit above Ceres in the asteroid belt. And I found myself looking at those pictures and making them as big as I could, and trying to get a sense of the scale, and just wanting to put people in those pictures. And so that's where I had this idea to use Jules Verne's premise and use his characters, Phileas Fogg and Passepartout, and send them on an adventure that would take them to Ceres and to Pluto and to several other places that I really want to see people. I want to see people standing on Mars and standing by the lakes of methane on Saturn's moon Titan. So that's the story I wrote, and I think it's fun, I think it's exciting, and I think it's not really written targeted for children, but I think children would love it. It's for the whole family. And a couple weekends ago, Memorial Day weekend, while everyone else was out flipping their burgers, I stayed home and edited together a little trailer. In the spirit of adapting Jules Verne, I kept all the elements of the trailer in the public domain. So the music, the pictures are from NASA, which is your tax dollars at work. And so I cut this together, and I'd like to show it now, this trailer for Around the Solar System in 80 days, because why wait till you make the movie to make the trailer? All right, roll the clip, Hal. Well, home again. I got in last night after midnight. It was good to sleep in my own bed again, but I feel like I left a little piece of myself in Costa Rica, along with my phone charger. I think the last day there was the highlight for me. We had a group of writers, 8 or 9 people, doing a read-through of the first 10 pages of my script with everyone playing a part. And I had to just sit there and listen, not speak. And I was nervous at first, but the writers, a lot of them have acting experience, and they did a really great job. They dove in, and they were doing accents and everything. And I ended up just sitting there with a big grin on my face. I couldn't stop smiling, and because my characters were alive for me for the first time. It was a real conversation I was listening to, instead of something that was just on paper, you know. So it was great. It was very thrilling, and I learned what worked and what doesn't work, what I still need to tweak. So it was valuable, in addition to being a fun experience.
I am in need of a gentleman's gentleman to tend to my domestic affairs, cooking and cleaning and so forth, and to do so in a reliable manner. I am a creature of habit, and I live by daily schedule from which I rarely deviate.
I do hope you will keep an account of his performance. You are our first beta tester for this new model.
I appreciate the opportunity. The design is impressive, but I must say I was surprised to find him so French.
But of course he is French.
I think the biggest lesson I learned from this adventure is that sometimes you have to actually do the kinds of things that you make your characters do in real life. I'm a creature of habit too, just like Phileas Fogg. But I sent him to Pluto and back, and I tortured him every step of the way. How could I do that and turn my back on a chance to go to Costa Rica and spend 5 days in the rainforest with a group of people I've never met before? I did it. It was great. I survived. And just like Phileas Fogg, I come home, and I'm a stronger person for it. And I've made new friends. And I learned a new outlook on life and the universe and everything. So I want to thank everyone at Scriptapalooza who made this possible for me. I want to thank everyone at Jacob Krueger Studios who ran the retreat. And I especially want to thank the other writers who were on the retreat, who created such a positive and supportive environment. It was really great for creativity. I know I've made some friends that I'll have for a long time, and some of them have volunteered to read the next draft of my script. So I just got to get busy writing it now. So time to get back to work. Thanks for watching.